Hi there, and good morning. Um, yeah, you're seeing me this morning because I have no job. It went off this morning, but there was an ad on at one, so I'll pick that up. Wanted to welcome all the new people. Um, that was a great live from South Coast last night. I just um, happened to pop in the middle of it, and 2 minutes later, they mentioned my name and Magic for Court Reporters, and I about broke down in tears. Because I often think that what we do over here is kind of quiet and clandestine, and we don't try to make a big hoop-de-doo about it because, well, a lot of people think it's woo-woo what I offer over here. I happen to think it's wow, wow, because I've got the statistics and I've got the tons of people that have aced that last Q&A on the RPR or who have finished their speed building and are evaluating what state do I want to work in? Oh, okay, so what qualifications do you need for that state? I mean, this is all investigative work, a lot of it. Even the mental stuff is investigative work. But I'm going to hit on a couple of things here aside from just saying welcome. If any of you have any questions, any of you new people, please post or message me privately. I'm more than happy to help, and so is everybody else in this group. Surprisingly, there's a lot of interaction in this group compared to most court reporting groups where it's somebody will post and that's kind of it. But if you ask a question here, you will probably get 20 suggestions. And they're just suggestions because we try to run on the premise of no judgment, no comparison. But hey, this worked for me, give it a try. And with everything that I suggest to students who come to me, helping to break the blocks, to get past the speed they're stuck in, to help with issues in their personal lives, which guess what? It's all related. If you've got chaos and consternation and whoo, confrontation and all the things that you experience in your daily life, you're also going to experience in your steno life. It's going to be the stuff that trips you up because I love my first hypnosis teacher taught me how you do anything is how you do everything. And so what affects you in your personal life cannot help but to be an element of affecting your ability to write or get past yourself or to shut the chattery mind off so that you can drop down and write brilliantly. I heard all kinds of things last night in that live that just lit me up when working reporters are talking about the stuff that they got in this group or wherever they got it that said, I need to get out of my own way. When I can stop being in my head and analyzing how I'm writing, I write faster. Exactly. But what I love about our group, because Carrie's kind of fanatical that way, I want to know why. Because I think we are very left-brained people in this profession. Most cops, attorneys, we analyze things. That's your left side of your brain. We want to put the pieces together. We want to understand. We want the information. And so if you can get the information to the left side of your brain to the point where it gets on board because it understands what we're doing, it's going to be your best ally instead of your worst foe. And until we get to that point, you've got this thing that's not even in a body that just pops in randomly and messes you up. Well, that's not really what's happening, but that's what it feels like is happening when you don't have the information. When that part of your brain doesn't understand what's going on and it is on fire trying to figure out how to keep you safe when you keep doing things that it's pretty sure are not safe. How does it evaluate what's safe? By the feelings in your body. And what are the feelings in our body right before we take a test? They're pretty bad. They're flutters, nervousness, heart racing, breathing problems, like shallow, high breathing. There are doubts, there are racing thoughts, there are, why am I doing this? What made me think I could do this? I'm going to fail. Your brain is, it's foretelling the future based on all of its wealth of information from the past, which says you've failed more than you've ever passed. And so, you're going to fail. It's like, that's brilliant. Except that, thank goodness, that part of your brain didn't even exist until you were about 7, 8, 9 years old. So, first of all, it's not you, because you existed before you were 7, but that part of your brain did not. And so, it's just a tool in the neurological toolbox. But it comes out, and sometimes in my case, it went rogue, and it tries to tell you that it's the boss, that you have to listen to it, and it chatters incessantly. And if you can slow it down long enough, you'll realize it often is contradicting what it just said. It's almost just like it's just batting the balls back, hoping that something will make sense or that it'll land on you and you'll pay attention to it for a second. Had a defense attorney once. I heard him and his partner talking out in the hallway. And his partner, who they hadn't been together that long, and it was a murder case. And his partner said, why do you keep doing that, Robert? Because, you just keep saying stuff and some of it contradicts what you just said. And he said, yeah, but juries are funny people. And if you throw enough shit toward the wall, some of it's going to stick. I thought, oh, dear God, this is what we're dealing with in the judicial system sometimes. But this is also what we're dealing with our chattery mind, with the part that thinks it's in control and wants to be in control. The part up here where you had to use it to learn your theory. And so we kind of honor that part. Well, it worked in theory. And so in theory, it worked. While I was learning theory, it worked. But once you get past about 120, it doesn't work in theory anymore. You need a new theory of thought, because anything past 120 is kind of too fast for that part of your brain to consistently be able to criticize as you're writing, to analyze as you're writing, to be able to have a thought process going on while you're writing. And anytime you've got a thought process going on while you're writing, you are writing slower than you could be writing. Up here, 125 bits of information per second is able to be processed. Sounds pretty fast. Down here, your subconscious, where we store your steno dictionary, every stroke you've ever written, every word you've ever heard, even before court reporting school, everything you've ever experienced is locked down here. 126 bits of information per second being processed up here in your chattery mind. 2 million bits of information are being processed every second in your subconscious. It's the part that finds the parking place for you. It's the part that knows what it knows. It's the part that looks at what's in front of it with no filters. If you tell it something, if this thing can stay out of the way, this thing can give you everything. It's that moment when this says, oh my gosh, we could be out reporting by what is it? It's April. By the end of the year, we could be reporting and have to pay taxes on that money next year. Woo! And then this part says, I can think of all kinds of reasons why that won't happen. Because what if this happened? And what if that happened? And what if this happened? And what if that happened? And it's going by past experience again. And you got to start telling that part of you that there is no past experience. The only past experience that I want to honor is the part of me that just doesn't give up. That's honorable. The rest of it, think about it. If the part of you that chatters, that holds you back, that even in its quietness tries to keep you from accomplishing what you want to accomplish, if that part of you, of your mind, of your brain, did not exist until the age of 7, thank God, because let's throw it back to being 1 or 2 years old and learning how to walk. And if that part of you had been on board, you never would have learned how to walk. Well, the stubborn ones of us might have, but for the most part, you take a step, you stumble, you fall. You take a step, you fall, you get hurt, you get up, you try it again, and you try it again, and you try it again, and your will to learn to do the thing that everybody else is doing, not just to walk, but to run. That will to want the thing you want to do next has got to be so much more powerful than the part of you that might doubt it. But at the age of 1 or 2, there's no part that doubts. There's no part that doubts. It just says, I want, I'm going to do. I want, I'm going to cry. I want, I'm going to scream and have a temper tantrum because there's something I want and I need and I'm not getting it and I'm important. Up to the point where something else in your life tries to tell you, you're not as important as you think you are. There's the big people and they kind of run the show around here. But back to walking. Take a step, you fall. You take a step, you fall. If that part had been on board, it literally would have said to you, oh, look at you. You are never going to be any good at this. Just quit. Just quit right now, because every time you get up and try and you cry, my job is to keep you away from pain from about the ages of 7 on. My job is to keep you away from pain. Trying something and failing at something is painful. So don't do that. Just don't do that. That's the part of your brain. It's trying to keep you alive, but that's the part of your brain that is the thing that is holding most of us back from accomplishing what we want to accomplish. It doesn't understand truly, concretely where we want to go. So this is the mind game. And if that thing will mess with you, you have my permission to mess with it. There are lots of ways to do that. So we're not going into that today. Those are videos. You can find them over on YouTube. I'm every day trying to load up some more. If anybody out there is a YouTube expert, let me know, because I'm myself and several of my hypnotherapist friends are in dire need of upping our game on YouTube. And yeah, that would be helpful. So for today, what I want you guys to remember is, first of all, this group is supportive. If you come across anything that's not, please let me know, because I take great pride in the fact that this was a very tiny group for a very long time, purposefully. It wasn't just a private group. It was a hidden group. You had to know somebody to know somebody to know somebody, and then be vetted to get into this group. And I would not take coaches, I would not take teachers, I would not take reporters that were out in the field, because what I was doing and helping people learn, I just didn't have the time or the energy or the fortitude to be able to stand up against somebody who said, well, that's bullshit. You're just talking to people for an hour and then they go pass a test. Like, you think you helped them do that? I don't care. I don't really care. Doesn't it matter that they passed the test? I mean, isn't that the thing that we're all going for? And so criticism, comparison, judgment, these are not our friends. And I'll leave you with one final thing about affirmations, because they can be powerful and they can change your life if you already don't have a part of you that is resistant to them. If you said to yourself, if you were in 120s and you said to yourself, well, my birthday's in May, I'm going to be out and be certified by May. I'm going to be out and be certified by May. That's an affirmation. It's an I'm going to be, but we don't want those. But I see myself certified and working by May. There's another part of you that says that's bullshit. I can think of 100 reasons why, not the least of which is your past history, why that's not going to happen. No way that can happen. And you can say it till you're blue in the face. You can say it till you die, but it's not going to happen because there's a part of you that's not on board. So when you're doing affirmations, first of all, instead of affirmations, try afformations. AFFORMATIONS. Look on YouTube. There's a guy that's written a book about them. It's basically asking your brain, asking the part of you that creates, that knows and sees all, that knowing part of you, asking it the right question. And The one I like the most is the question that starts off with, how can it be so easy? How can it be so easy to be out of school and be making the money I see everybody else making? How can it be so easy? There's a part of your brain that's going to say, well, it's not, otherwise you would have done it already. Shh, not you, not talking to you, talking to the other part, the part that will go find how it could be so easy, the part that will go find the parking place, the part that will make you pick up the phone right as it rings, the part that wakes you up 5 minutes before you set your alarm, the part of you that's on the clock 24/7, the power part of you, the inherent, authentic power within you. Wow, that's a whole nother video. That part of you. It will go find out how it could be so easy. And you will start getting visions, dreams, nudges, notions, ideas, thoughts, dreams, synchronicities, confirmations, signs that go this way. Practice that. Give yourself an hour break. You've been working hard. Not the, oh, just don't do that because it's hard and you worked really hard yesterday. That's a different voice. There's this voice, and then there's this voice. Number one, awareness to know which voice you're listening to. Is it the chattery one that fears everything and that thinks everything is a threat and only wants to feel like it's in control? That's up here. That's slow writing. Down here, this part fears nothing. There's nothing to fear. Everything is happening right now in this moment. There's nothing else but right here and right now. Up here, there's the past. There's the future. There's no now. The now lives down here. The moment, this moment in time when you have everything you need, this moment in time when you're safe, this moment when you're not in a test, this moment, and this part of you that knows that there's nothing to be afraid of, and there's nothing you can't accomplish if only you believe in you and what you're capable of, the stuff that you're made of. And that is what this journey is all about. I am coming to find out. So much less to do with theory and speed building, so much more to do with who are you? Who are you? What are you made of? What is the stuff that is you? Because the stuff that brings you to the table is the stuff that makes great court reporters. I love you guys. Have a great day, and I will talk to you again soon.